Hello, welcome to tinkandfrogknits. I'm Nat. If you don't know me, I'm a knitter based in the UK, and this is my channel where I talk all things knitting, yarn, what I'm learning, what I'm up to. This morning I realised that I haven't really done a knitting podcast update for a while, so I thought I'd sit down, have a little chat with you about what I finished in September, what I'm currently working on, and what I'm going to cast on in the next few weeks. Let's start with what I'm wearing. This is my clay sweater, which is a pattern by Ozetta. I knitted it in Drops Lima in, I want to say indigo, but I have a feeling it has different names in different places. I'll preface this podcast episode with I use Ravelry a lot. I'm quite good at like keeping up to date on there. So if you ever have any like questions about what yarn I used, colour I used, how many meters I used, then head over to Ravelry. I waffle a lot over there. I talk about all the mods I do. I use it a lot. So yeah, I recommend checking out my Ravelry. This was the second ever garment that I cast on. So I started with my step-by-step sweater, which is obviously a raglan, and then I wanted to do a drop shoulder. So I chose this as my drop shoulder, but because I also wanted to learn something else, I decided to go for a texture that's just knits and pearls, so low taxing for a beginner. I really love the shoulder detail on the back of this. I just love this. I did the body of this really quickly and then cast off too tightly with the tubular bind off and got a bit Maude, had a bit of a strop, put it in jail for a few months, and then came back to it, blocked it, and was like, oh, it's fine. It's a bit of a ball ache to get like on and off over your shoulders, but it wears perfectly fine. It's not too tight or anything. So I added the sleeves and post, and I've loved it ever since, and it's great for this weather. I wore it to drop off my daughter at preschool this morning, and I love the 2x2 rib. I love the texture. There's one row where I definitely did too few rounds of stockinette between the pearl bumps, but good luck finding it. So this month I've got 5 finished objects, 3 of which are garments and 2 accessories, and then I've only got 2 whips to talk about because I've been good. I've been trying to get rid of my whips. I've been trying to film like a whip marathon video of me finishing my whips so I can then get onto my autumn plans, but I'm not very good at like filming over a long period. I keep forgetting to, so we'll see whether or not that works out. Hence why I'm doing this video as well. So the first finished object is easily the most beautiful thing I've ever knit, and it could quite possibly be the most beautiful thing that I ever knit, ever, for the rest of my life. This is my Maude sweater. I finished her a few days ago. She's been blocked, but I still have to weave in the ends. But yeah, I am obsessed. This is a pattern by Coco and More Knits, or Cheryl, I've forgotten her name, sorry Cheryl. I'll put it on my description. I used Drops Flora in White Fog and Drops Kid Silk in Light Beige. This is my first mohair garment. I knitted a Sophie hood with mohair, and the knitting followed mohair for that was definitely a lot softer. This is definitely fluffy. Too fluffy. I will like do crafting calls with my sister. She sews, I knit, we catch up, and I would be constantly getting like fluff in my mouth and be like she's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, just have fluff up my nose and in my face. But yeah, it's very fluffy, but I love how the like fabric feels and like the drapiness of it. I can really see why you would knit fingering and mohair over a DK weight yarn at a DK gauge, if you know what I mean. So I definitely want to knit more garments with mohair in the future. I also hope that it will pill less, because you'll see on some of my other garments that I've knitted, they are pilly. This is a drop shoulder sweater. So you start by shaping the back in this moss stitch pattern, pick up your shoulders, join under the arms, knit, add your sleeves. There's German short row shaping at the top of the sleeves, which gives this incredible like detail. Can you see how the pearl bumps go along the shoulder seam here? I think it looks so cool. I think I'm a sucker for jumpers where they have like chunks of different textures, like the Salty Days sweater I love the look of. I've got that pattern. Some of the Petite Knit ones, I can't remember like whether it's Ingrid, Moby, Storm, which ones are the textures across, but I think it's just a really fun way to knit, because before you have a chance to get like fed up of doing one thing, you're then like switching it up to do something new. This has double moss stitch. It's got like this slipped stitch pattern. There's a lacework panel. There's this like textured, it's just made of pearls and knits. And then obviously you've got ribbing, and yeah, it was really fun to do. Though I will say by the second sleeve, the novelty kind of wore off, because obviously it does take a lot longer than doing stockinette. And I'm not a sleeve fan as it is. So it was quite a lot of willpower to have to do it. And once I cast them on, it was fine and got going. But like picking up the sleeves when you're like, oh, it was, you know, a test of willpower. This has a folded collar, which is what's recommended in the pattern, and I'm pretty sure for this pattern that the pickup rates for the collar and the sleeves, I got the perfect amount of stitches like first time, which just doesn't happen, does it? So that was really satisfying, and I guess a testament to the pattern writing. The pattern's great, it's very detailed, there's no charts or anything. All of these textured sections are only 4-row repeats, so you don't really have to think about it too much. Like, it's really easy to memorize them, it's really easy to just do them. I did a lot of keeping track with tallies in my little notebook that I have, but it was otherwise fine, easy enough to keep track of. The section that I found the hardest was actually the slip stitch one, which is mad, because that was just like knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, and I would constantly be getting out of sync. And all the other sections were fine. I would have a few rows where I notice and tink back a bit, but that one, like every row I was out of sync. Madness. I just can't count, is pretty much all I've learned from knitting. I knit this to pattern. I did the recommended length for the sleeves, I did the recommended length for the body. There's short and long sleeves, and then tells you the lengths and how to mod it. I did the long sleeves because I like a cozy sleeve. And the only mod that I did, 2 mods. Number 1 was when I did the folded collar, I did some rows of double knitting in the middle, which is a tip I got from my Sonja sweater, which I'll talk about in a bit. And it just helps the fold sit really nicely, I think. Instead of it having like this really curved fold, this is not folded, I don't know why I'm looking at this, it has like a nice crisp edge and sits really nicely. So I did that in this, but the pattern does do a folded collar, it just does knit, fold. And then the second mod that I did was on the shoulder seam, I added this lace pattern. So in the pattern, it's just moss stitch across the whole of the back and the shoulder. And in the pattern sample photos, it looked really nice and quite clean. It's not too noticeable. Mine was looking horrendous. I couldn't get it to look nice. So I kind of had a little think and decided that I was going to incorporate the lace pattern that's on the back and do that on the shoulder as well. And I was a bit worried it'd be a bit busy when I picked up the sleeve, but I don't think it's too bad. And I really like how it looks. I think that was definitely a nice little mod. Thank you, me. To do this, I have put a few details on my Ravelry page if you're interested, but I essentially picked up with smaller needles to try and like hide the knit stitches, because I googled it and pick up and purl is, yeah, I don't know. If you know how to pick up and purl, let me know, but that worked fine. I was a bit worried that it might make it a bit too tight on the shoulder seam, but it blocked out fine. And if anything, I think it helps keep the structure. So I do find that with the drop shoulders, they kind of, the weight of the jumper pulls it down quite a lot. So I think actually having that seam with a bit of structure instead of it being bigger stitches has actually helped it. But obviously I haven't wore it, so I don't know, can't really comment. We'll get back to you about that. But yeah, I think it looks really nice. Overall, I just love this. I haven't wore it yet. It's going to be debuted at Yarndale on Saturday. So today is Thursday, which means I need to weave in all my ends because I did not weaving ends as I went. So there's quite a few because I was obviously using 2 strands as well. That's fine. I think I wove it. No, I wove in none. I wove in none. Who am I kidding? I wove in none. So that's the job for me this evening. But yeah, very pleased, obsessed, lovely. I love the fit. I mean, I've tried it on for like 20 seconds and been like, oh, pretty. So we will see properly at Yarndale. But yeah, the dog's barking. I did pick up stitches on the sleeves on the wrong size needle. I think I was meant to use 4mm and I used 4.5. So I used 4.5 for all the German short rows, realised I'd done it wrong, and then switched to 4 for the rest of the sleeve. So when I came to the second sleeve, I just did the same thing. Though when I blocked it, I kind of thought maybe I'd used the wrong size needle for the entire sleeve from one sleeve. So I just pinned the sleeves to be the right size because one was a bit bigger, but I'm not sure. They look pretty similar now. I think it might have just been me tricking myself. But yeah, Maude. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Recommend the pattern if you love these textures and like doing textured knits and you like get bored of doing stockinette. I'm not saying stockinette's boring, but I think it's good to have a mixture. It's also good for your hands to be doing different things like your wrists and yeah, your future hand health. It's good to be doing different stitches and different needle sizes and different patterns. So yeah, I really recommend this pattern. Second finished object, I've actually filmed a vlog for this one, which I'll probably post in the next week or two because it's my first ever intarsia project. This is the Always Forever Unicorn Sweater by Wool & Beyond, and this is a gift for my daughter's 4th birthday. She asked for rainbows and unicorns and pink and purple, so I think I've hit the brief on this. I'm obsessed with this. I might knit a grown-up version of this. There isn't a grown-up pattern, but I think I could like make it up. I knit this in Drops Air, which is the recommended yarn. There's an annoying fly, sorry. Sorry if you can hear it buzzing, but wildlife. Anyway, I use Drops Air. I use the colour Heather, which is this really lovely, like mild, pinky purpley colour. I really love how that works up. And then I used Pink Sand for the unicorn. And that was just a colour that I had left over from when I did her striped rainbow. Then the main is Drops Fiesta in Fairy Tale, which I used for my laid edges sock, not finished them. And then for the eye, I used Drops Saffron, which is just a cotton yarn, which I had to make a summer top and didn't get round to. So this is a drop shoulder sweater. It's oversized, so it's got about 20 centimeters of positive ease, which is obviously quite a lot on a child. I think it's like 33% of her size. So hopefully it'll last her a nice little while. It's got a folded collar. I did my collar quite short because Goose just doesn't like having, she's just always hot basically, so she won't wear it if it's a high neck or it's too cozy. So I did a really short, like, I did do the folded, but I just did it really short. I picked up sleeves on this one so neatly. I think like all the stitches are going the right way. It just looks great and I'm really pleased. I was messing up the intarsia. I did it wrong for the first like quarter of the unicorn and decided ultimately to not tink back and redo it because my daughter's my guinea pig and she doesn't notice, and like objectively it looks like a unicorn. Some of the stitches are obviously a bit bigger because I was catching, or I was doing my twists on the second stitch, not the first stitch. Don't know why. Consult my vlog if you can work out why I was doing that. But I still think it looks really good. It looks like a unicorn. I think I've done a nice job. I did the Italian bind off in the intarsia pattern as well. So I managed to like maintain that. Here are my little twists on the inside. And yeah, this is beautiful. I'm going to wrap this up today so that I don't try and show my daughter it before her birthday because I really want her to be surprised, and I've done a good job so far. She doesn't even know what colour it's going to be. Though she did actually pick the colour for this. I bought yarn for this in May or June and she did help me pick the colour, but it was so long ago that she's forgotten. I obviously left it until the month before her birthday to knit it, but that's fine. It only took me a couple of weeks. Kids knits just knit up so much faster. It's great. I might knit another version of this for my niece for Christmas if I've got time, because matching ones will be so cute. She's 1, so she'll have a Didier version and they'll be very sweet. But yeah, very happy. Use crochet hook to put the mane on and embroider on the eye. Pretty. Number 3, another garment. This was the one I actually finished this at the end of August. This one has had a lot of wear. She pills like a bitch, but I have been wearing it like every other day, and I wear it in the evenings. Like I just wear it a lot about the house and stuff. Though I did wear it to a nice restaurant as well, because with nice trousers you can dress it up. So this is my Sonja sweater. This is a pattern by Petite Knit, and I use Drops Lima, so the same yarn that I used for my clay sweater, this time in the colour Blush. I really like this colour. I like how it's not just one colour, it's kind of mouldy. It's got like browns and paler pinks, darker pinks, and it kind of makes it look a lot more visually interesting than just pink stockinette. So I really like the colour. I am obsessed with the collar on this. It is so crispy and beautiful, and the increases around it look great, and the double knitting on the fold is chef's kiss. As I said, I used that tip on my Maude sweater, and yeah, I think it just makes the collar look really polished. I've not had to put any elastic or anything in yet, even though I've been wearing it a lot. I did the folded collar on my step by step, and that flares a lot because I didn't size down my needles enough. But this one, beautiful, works really well. The shoulder seams, I think I did quite a good job picking up. It's just a simple drop shoulder, but simple's not a bad thing. Like, it fits really nicely. I did the recommended length. I did the sleeves a bit shorter, so they're practical, which my heart wants sleeves down to here, okay? But sometimes you just got to be practical. So I went for practical length, so like my wrist bone length here, and that has been good because it does mean that I can like walk the dog and wash up and do all those things that I have to do. Would knit this pattern again, definitely, because it's almost like a knitted sweatshirt. It's really good staple. The back of this is just a rectangle. So this is the first time that I've done a drop shoulder where you don't make that like trapezoid shape with either short rows or increases. It is literally just a rectangle, and all the shaping comes in where you pick up the shoulders, and then on the top of the sleeve cap the short rows as well. So you get this really nice fit, but just from the shoulder shaping and the short rows at the top of the sleeve. It was a cast on that I did for a trip to go see my sister in Edinburgh, so I had like a lot of train knitting time on my own, so I cast this on because it was just stockinette back and forth in a rectangle, like really mindless, great travel project. And then yeah, I think I knit this in about 2 weeks. It was really quick. It's 5mm needles. I had mohair that I could have paired with this, but I decided not to because, as I said, I haven't knit any mohair garments before, so I was a bit worried that I would find it a bit too tickly prickly. And I really like the way this colour is on its own, and I didn't want to put like the slightly paler mohair with it and kind of tone down that marling, so I didn't include the mohair. This is a bit ticklier on my neck than this one. This one's fine, and I thought, oh, it's just because this one's loads lower, but it's not even that much lower. But this one is a bit ticklier, so I don't know if that's to do with like different dyes sometimes of different levels of tickly, don't they? Like in terms of, I don't know, this one's a bit pricklier, but it's still fine. It's alpaca wool blend, the Lima. If I'd wore the mohair though, it might not have peeled quite as much, but that's okay. I will take bobbling for softness. Like, I'm okay with that. I guess I just have to do maintenance a bit more often on this one, but that's okay. As long as it doesn't like instantly bobble. Do you know what I mean? As long as I can wear it and it looks smart for at least a few wears, then it's okay. But yeah, that's my Sonja sweater, and I think she is beautiful and really recommend this pattern. I am going to take part in the random sweater knit along, which Will You Look at Mila is hosting over on Instagram. She's got a Ravelry event as well. She did one with some knitting for Olive heavy merino and it looked so cool and I want to join in. So I'm going to use the drops there that I got for my daughter's rainbow sweater to make a random sweater where you like generate random numbers to decide what colour you do next and how much of it you do. I think I might use this pattern, to be honest, because I really like the way it fits. I really liked knitting it. I know stripes is probably easier with a raglan, but it's fine. It's a random sweater. I don't even have to try and get them to line up. So yeah, I might use this pattern for that as well. We will see. I might find a raglan, but yeah. So they're my garments. The next finished object, let's talk about this one, is my hot water bottle. This is soaking wet and it's blocking because I finished it this morning and it's currently drying, so it looks a bit weird, but there's my hot water bottle. I did a video all about hot water bottle patterns if you're also a hot water bottle fan. I'm going to put that back because touching wet wool rank, and I made the hot water bottle in it warm in a hope that it will dry faster because I really want to use it tonight, but I'm not sure it'll be dry by then, but that's okay. So that is my Maxine hot water bottle, which is a pattern by Laura Penrose. I knitted it in Drops Charisma. I used light oak, light olive and olive, I believe, and I did 3 colours. This pattern you can do it in 6 colours or 3 colours, or I guess you could do 4 or 5 if you wanted as well to work it out, but yeah, they're the recommended colour combos. The pattern comes with average standard size hot water bottle and mini if you have mini hot water bottles. It's the first time that I've done a colourwork piece. I've done some colourwork swatches, but I've not done any actual finished objects yet, so that was my first attempt at colourwork and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I think I've done quite a nice job. I was surprised that my colourwork didn't cinch in compared to the stockinette, because when I did my swatching for other jumpers it did. My colourwork was a lot tighter than the stockinette, so I had to size up my needles for the colourwork, but in this one I didn't. So I'm hoping that means that I'm learning and my floats are getting better. It was really good timing because on Saturday I'm going to cast on my Loom sweater, which is a colourwork circular yoke jumper by Sorry Nordland, and that's going to be my birthday cast on Saturday evening. So yeah, it's definitely just made me feel a lot more confident with that. Not that I didn't feel confident, like, it's fine. You can knit anything if you try, and if you do it wrong, you just undo it. It's fine. Like, I know I can do it, it's all good. So yeah, really pleased with that. As I said, I finished it this morning, so it took me less than 2 days to knit that. I did kind of hyperfixate, so I cast it on and then that evening I just kept going. I ended up doing up to about here on the colourwork because I was just like so into it. Turns out I love knitting colourwork. Who knew? I knew I was going to love colourwork. That's the reason I learned to knit, is so that I could make colourwork jumpers. So the fact that I enjoy it is good because that's what I really want to wear. But yeah, love it. I did do the charts wrong. So on this row above the star, can you see the one at the bottom is like got 2 stitches, and then this one was meant to be a V. I did it wrong, but whatever, it's all good. It doesn't matter. It's still pretty. I might duplicate stitch on it to hide. It's fine. So that's the Maxine hot water bottle. I think it was really fun to knit. It was a really clear pattern. The charts were really clear to follow. There was a few times where I had to tink back because I was using the wrong colour, because obviously the charts will be in like red, green and white, and I wasn't using those colours, so I kept getting mixed up because I was using like green where it was white and white where it was green, but whatever, fine. The shaping was easy enough and it was quick, so if you're looking for some gift knits, I think they'll be great, especially because it's got the mini ones. They won't take long to knit up at all. The most awkward part was the cast on. So it's Judy's Magic cast on, so that you get this like seamless bottom. But that was then just really awkward to knit round for the first like 10 rows or so, because you've like got your 2 needles. I had to magic loop basically, and I've never done that before, so learning curve, all good fun learning. I don't think it looked too terrible. Like, you can't really tell, there's no ladders or anything. Sorry, it's a bit big, but I didn't swatch, so that's not the pattern's fault, it's my fault. So yeah, that was the most awkward part, was just doing the like increases and knitting around the initial cast on, just because I had to learn how to do magic loop. And I didn't think to Google it, because I was kind of just doing it like, oh, this is awkward. And then I got further on and I was like, oh, that was magic loop. Could have Googled it, but it's fine, worked out fine. Another Laura Penrose pattern up next. This is my daughter's Pimpom shawl. So this was meant to be a birthday present as well, but she saw me knit it so many times there was no point keeping it from her. I would take this to like kids' parties and just knit in the corner and chat to other parents. It was like a really enjoyable, kind of mindless but engaging knit. The main part in the main colour, obviously you're doing increases, so at least you've got something to do. It's not just like knitting constantly. There's an I-cord edge. I learned how to do an I-cord tab cast on. When you switch colours, you do these bobbles. They were really fun. They're kind of like smushed up I-cords, I guess, but they were quite satisfying to knit. I loved doing the scallops because I love German shawl rows. They're kind of a bit puckering, but that's because I haven't dried it flat this time. It's been in the washing machine 3 times already because kids are mucky. This is the first knit that I put in a washing machine, which is scary, but it's fine, still perfect. It is super wash sock yarn though, so you'd hope, wouldn't you? But you know. Yeah, so I didn't dry it flat this time, which means there is a tiny bit of puckering in the scallops, whereas when I dried it flat, it doesn't have that problem. I shoved this on the drying rack and was like, whatever. My daughter loves it. She took it away to my mum's house, her nana's house, for the weekend when she stayed there, so she could cuddle it when she missed us, which was quite cute. And she sleeps with it. She has it right at the top of her duvet, also very cute, and she loves the colour. This yarn is very much Goose if she was a yarn. So bright and fun, and I love how it knitted up, especially in the garter stitch. I don't love garter stitch, but then I do seem to like knitting a lot of Laura Penrose's garter stitch patterns. And my next whip is a garter stitch Laura Penrose pattern. But yeah, I really recommend this pattern if you're into shawls or you have a little kid that does. There is an adult size in the pattern as well, but I don't think it's very made to do the adult version. It's more fun for Goose. But yeah, I chose this pattern because she asked for a blanket and I was like, I'm not knitting a whole blanket, effort. I'll knit a triangle shawl because that's less knitting. And I wanted to do that whilst also learning something new. So I learned how you do the increases for the triangle shaping. I learned the I-cord tab cast on, learned the bobbles, learned the German shawl rows. So it was lots of fun learning for me whilst also making something that she wanted. And this is in Drops Fiesta. Rainbow sprinkles, strawberry ice cream. Goose chose the colours herself. Good. So sticking with Laura Penrose, this is one of my current whips, and I've only got 2 whips to talk about. I have loads of lingering whips, but we're not going to talk about them. We just ignore them until I'm in the mood again. This is my Sweet Shop blanket, and this is the yarn that I dyed. So if you've seen any of my earlier podcast episodes, you will have seen that I dyed 40 micro skeins of sock yarn, and these are them. It's looking a bit squiffy wonky because I've blocked a few of them and not others, but it'll be fine once I've blocked it at the end and it's perfect. So this is the Sweet Shop blanket, which is a really popular pattern by Laura Penrose, and it is so fun to knit. It's like such a comfort knit. It's like engaging, but in a way that like you don't have to like keep count all the time. You just do it. It's really fun. It's great that you can like change colours so often, so you're like always doing something new almost. And for me, because I dyed the yarns, it's so fun seeing how they're going to work up. Like this one, I dyed that. How cool is that? Like that pink and whitey red, I dyed that. Amazing. I was so excited to watch it work up. The next row is obviously orange. These are my too far away orange colours. So I've got this really cool like rusty copper. I've got like a really bold orange. I've got this yellowy orange with pink speckly bits, and then this like red pink, no, it's like fuchsia orange combo. They've all been wound up, and I'm like pulling from the middle and the outside because you have to hold it double. And then the main yarn is Filcolana Arwetta in natural white. But yeah, this is just a really fun project. It's gonna be 5 by 8, so this is the width, and then it'll be 8 long, and it's gonna be in the rainbow order. So I've got red row, orange, yellow, blah 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 blah, blah to purples. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I might dye 8 more, it's like 1 of each colour family, because I do have 100 grams of undyed upstairs, but we will see how it goes because I might be fed up knitting triangles by then. But so far, loving it. Really like comforting Moorish knit and a genius pattern. And once again, I like German short rows, so right up my alley. And my final whip, or my second whip, is the Lakes V-neck pullover, which is another pattern by Ozetta, like this one. I have seen the Lakes V-neck all over social media, and I think it looks so good. It's the saddle shoulders just make it look really cool, but because I don't have a V-neck, I thought I'm gonna make the V-neck one, because this V-neck is also very satisfying. Like, look how pretty. I used a saddle as my swatch. I did mini swatches to see which fabric to use, but yeah, did that, and it was the perfect size. I have the same knitting tension as Ozetta. Don't want to brag, but it's perfect every time I knit her patterns, so we must both be medium tight knitters, I guess. So the saddle stitches are on hold. I used crochet chain to put it on hold instead of having it on cables, which works fine. I'm currently this far through the body, so I've done about this much under the arms, and I think this is a shorter jumper, so it's maybe 50 odd centimeters instead of like 60, so I don't think I actually have that much more to do because the ribbing is quite significant on it. The collar was really fun to knit. So it's double folded, or is it just folded? Like, you only fold it once. So think about, you do decreases for the V, and then on the inside you do increases. The increases were very tight, so it recommends doing knit one, make one right, make one left. Can't remember which way around, but I found that so tight. So once I got to about halfway, I started doing knit front and back, which was a bit easier to do. It means that I'm like not in the rib pattern, but it doesn't matter because it's on the inside. So this is how the stitches look on the front where you've decreased, and then this is how tight they are on the back. So yeah, I did knit front and back instead, and same effect, same number of stitches, just slightly less aesthetic, but it's on the inside, it doesn't matter. This is on 5.5mm needles, so it has been working up really quickly, and I don't think it will take me too long to do now, especially because I've done like there's no finishing details, it's just knit and rib and then sleeve and rib, so it's not like there's anything fancy pantsy to do. I'm using Holst-Garn Coast held triple. So this is a cotton merino blend. I think it's 55 merino, 45 cotton. For the sample, it uses 2 strands of a cotton merino fingering weight yarn and 1 strand of mohair. So when I got this yarn, I swatched it with a mohair, I swatched it with a brushed alpaca, and I swatched it triple, and triple was my favourite fabric, so that's what I went with. I think the colour is really lovely. I think it has a nice, like, similar to Sonja, it's kind of really subtle mold. Like it's not just an individual, like it's not just one green colour, there's kind of whites in there and slight differences. So again, it just adds that bit of visual interest. I think the cotton merino blend makes it like relatively structured, but with a good amount of drape, but not too much drape. I just like it. And I think this will be a really good autumn and spring jumper, like transitional piece. It's probably not like a depths of winter cozy jumper because it's got the open V and it is cotton, not just wool. But yeah, I think this is really good for autumn. So hopefully I'll have it finished soon to make the most of autumn. And the pattern's really well written, as always with Ozetta. I've knit quite a lot of her patterns now. I plan to knit many, many more. I think she's a great pattern writer, especially if you like the oversized drop shoulders. It's my first time doing saddle shoulder. The pickup rate for the saddle I remember being a bit not, like it took me a few attempts. I think the recommended rate was 3 and 5 and that was too few. I then did 2 and 3, which wasn't enough. Too many. How dare my husband walk around and make noise. Pickup rate for the shoulder recommended I think was 3 and 5 and that wasn't enough stitches. And then I did 2 and 3 and that was too many, so I ended up having to do like a hybrid, like 63% I think it was, but we got there in the end. I just had to do it 2 or 3 times to get it right, but then the second one, perfect first time, easy. And yeah, really looking forward to wearing this one, and it's just a nice stockinette project for me now, so easy enough. What have I got planned? So I don't have any acquisitions to talk about because I'm going to Yarndale on Saturday and I've been saving my money for that so that I can like actually pick up a few things. I've got a list of patterns and how much yarn I need so that I'm not just like buying pretty skeins and not knowing what to do with them. I will be casting on my loom sweater on Saturday, which will be my first colourwork sweater, which is exciting. And then I plan to cast on my Serena sweater, which is cabled, and my November jacket, which is brioche, because I think they'll both take me a while to do. So they're the kind of 3 patterns that I've got upcoming or intend to have upcoming. I do still have whips that I've kind of been ignoring. I need to do my husband's zipper sweater, but it's fine. He knows that I'm not knitting to a deadline for him. I'm knitting when I want to, so he just has to wait. That's fine. I'm planning on vlogging at Yarndale this weekend. It's kind of been, because I'm still a very new channel and I've never done this before, so I'm very much like trying to work out what I enjoy doing. So the first few podcast episodes I did felt a bit, I don't know, like I was forcing myself to prep and like overthink it, whereas today I'm just like, I'm just gonna chat and see if I prefer that, because there has to be a balance in that I'm quite time poor, you know, I've got a young child and all my like home responsibilities, so I don't have time to like polish my videos, and some people don't like that, that's fine, but it's never going to be aesthetic with me, which is fine. It's just chill, it's low key, but I think I have to find that balance of being able to edit things relatively quickly and film things relatively quickly so that it's like manageable for me, and so that I can, that fly is winding me up, so that I can actually like keep up the momentum and keep doing it and enjoy doing it. So yeah, let me know if you prefer the more structured knitting podcast, if you don't mind this chatty, low-key one. Let me know what types of videos you enjoy watching, basically, because I'm open to trying it all and giving it all a go and seeing what I enjoy, what works well with my life, and just making the most of being able to chat with you all. And also there's 1,000 of you now. Isn't that wild? Like, I cannot compute that 1,000 of you are listening to me waffle on YouTube. Blows my mind. But thank you so much for everyone that's subscribed, and if you're new and if you've watched any of my videos, I'm just really happy to be starting to make some like knitting friends, knitting connections. There's no one that I know in my life that knits. I mean, my grandma does, so I do send her pictures and get her advice on things, but none of my like friends or anyone does. So I really like getting all your comments and suggestions and hearing what you're knitting. If you did like this video, then do give me a little thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, if any of those videos that I've talked about coming up sound interesting. But otherwise, I hope you have a lovely day, and once again, thanks so much for being here. It means a lot.